participate here anytime, right?
Yeah, and you know what Sophia was describing is really typical of going through rain bands. You know, you hit the heavy rain, you get a little bit of a break, and then you get hit yet again. And that's what we're going to experience today. So she went through the first outer rain band of Harvey. And this is just the beginning. It's a marathon, not a sprint. So make sure that you're prepared for it. This is going to be days and days and days. And unfortunately, the later half is going to be the bigger issue for Southeast Texas. Right. We're going to be getting updates from the National Hurricane Center every single hour. So the next one comes out at 5. We're about 13 minutes away from that. The latest update was at 4 a.m. and the winds within Harvey were sustained at 105 miles per hour. So this is a Category 2 hurricane. There's a ton of warm water out there that is fuel for these storms, and there's nothing to really inhibit Harvey from continuing to strengthen. So we're expecting it to be a Category 3 hurricane when it makes landfall. That is going to be happening overnight tonight into early Saturday morning. It's never good when you have a landfalling system in the middle of the night. Tornadoes are possible, as well as deadly storm surge, especially from Corpus Christi to Victoria. That's where the largest storm surge will be, and that is the largest, deadliest threat with a hurricane. So if you've been asked to evacuate, you need to make sure that you are heeding those warnings, folks. Storm surge is going to be a lower threat for us, but it's out there. We're going to go through those threats in detail over the next 2 minutes. As we take a look at the end of this track, notice by Tuesday, Harvey is still a tropical storm as it moves into Matagorda County. It is also possible that Harvey could re-emerge over the Gulf of Mexico. That would allow for re-intensification. So the take-home message is changes are still possible. You need to watch the forecast very closely and be prepared for those changes. We could see power outages in our area, as well as the threat of devastating flooding as we go into Monday and Tuesday. So here's a look at the outer rain bands. They are already pushing into our area. We'll continue to see breaks in between. So the direct coast right now where Sophia is, you're getting a nice break on the island, but you have another heavy rain band that's going to move in probably in the next hour or so. The band that went over the island is now extending over the Gulf Freeway into northern portions of Brazoria County. This will move into Fort Bend County and Harris County over the next half hour. Let's talk storm surge. So this is how much water we could possibly have above ground. Where you see the blue, and this is from the National Hurricane Center, where you see the blue is 1 to 3 feet above ground. Where you see the yellow is over 3 feet above ground, possibly as high as 6 feet. So over the island, extending into Chambers County along Trinity Bay, we're seeing mostly blue. That is 1 to 3 feet of inundation in some of those swampier areas. Notice as you move closer to Oyster Creek into Surfside Beach, it increases. 3 to 6 feet of inundation is possible. As we take a little tighter look, you can tell around the east end of the island, extending into Texas City, Bayou Vista. Those are some of the areas that you have to watch out for possibly over 3 feet of storm surge. We do have storm surge warnings out for the area. Storm surge watches issued for Harris County and also Chambers County. As we extend into Brazoria County, notice that we get more oranges popping up closer to Oyster Bay. That is the possibility of over 6 feet of storm surge in some of those areas. So watch it closely. It does increase as you go to Matagorda Bay, and Matagorda Bay has that threat of life-threatening storm surge of over 9 feet of water, and that is above ground, folks, and that does not account for wave action, which can be very destructive. Now let's switch gears and talk about the rainfall, because that is going to be a bigger deal for Southeast Texas. As we take a look at the forecast into Sunday morning, we are still expecting Harvey to be a hurricane at that point, and rainfall totals in our southwest counties are already exceeding 10 inches of rain. As we continue to pump things out, the peak of that storm is really going to compound, and we're expecting the possibility of 25 to 30 inches of rain. This bullseye of 25 to 30 inches of rain has been consistent over the past 24 hours. So that's really the max of what we're looking at, but the placement can change. Right now it's on the southwest side of town, moving into Harris County. Notice that this is multiple counties of 25 inches to 30 inches of rain. That is a huge deal, folks. That bullseye could possibly move into our north counties. Right now, we're expecting our north counties to have lower rainfall totals, but be prepared for that bullseye to shift over you. This would be flooding for our bayous. This would be river flooding. This would be flooding on the streets. Definitely something that you have to take notice for. We're expecting the largest impacts for flooding to really be Sunday into Monday and Tuesday. So for today and tomorrow, we'll focus on the winds, we'll focus on the landfall, landfall, deteriorating conditions, but the flooding threat is really going to be a big deal as we go into Sunday night into the beginning of next week. Again, the American model, same deal, 25 inches to 30 inches of rain. Again, it's favoring the southwest side of town, but it does extend into the metro area. The best case scenario is in our in-house model. It consistently is pacing landfall below Corpus Christi. This would be a better scenario for us, obviously a worse scenario for them. Notice how it would give us more breaks throughout the rain, which would mean lower rainfall totals, which would mean a lower flooding outcome. Still going to look at flooding though, folks. There's no way we are getting through Harvey without some significant flooding in southeast Texas. So if you live in a flood prone area, which is pretty much all of southeast Texas, you need to make sure that you're prepared. A flash flood watch has been issued. It will remain in effect until we get through this, which is most likely going to be next Tuesday or Wednesday, even possibly extending into Thursday. Thursday is when I finally drop some of our rainfall that we're expecting down to about 40%. But we are looking at several days of heavy rain, Jen, and it's really the flooding that we're concerned about.